Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. This next video is going to be all about bears. Now, I was out in Canada last summer and I had 3 separate bear, sightings and one proper kind of encounter. So we're going to talk about them, how I dealt with them, and we've got some cool footage to show you as well. Stay tuned.
All right, so if you're going to be going into bear country, you want to do some research on, what the activity has been like, where you're going with bears. Is there lots of brown, black bear? Is it highly concentrated there? I know some tourist places like Yellowstone and places like that, I think that's where they have their most attacks because there's more people there. So in the Yukon, where I was going, right in the wilderness, yes, there was definitely going to be bears there, but actually it was kind of few and far between. So always good to do your research and follow the drills that you need to be doing when you're going into bear country. So in the Yukon, you've got black bear and brown bear. And there's about 1 bear to every 3 people in the Yukon. That's what they say, just general stats. There's probably a lot more than we realise. How could you keep on top of the figures? I don't know, but there's got to be thousands out there. And I certainly did come across them on a few occasions. Before I went out to the Yukon, I had a good chat with Peter, my friend now. He lives out in the Yukon, born and bred Yukoner, and he was telling me just all about the bears, and he actually put my mind at rest. I had this vision in my head when I was at home in the UK of, waking up and getting mauled by a bear in my tent and bears being around every corner. They're just not. It's not the case. But that's not to say that you can be off your guard, because there's always that chance. So check that video out, top tips from bears, top tips about bears from the experts. That's in my video library. Have a look at that. And that was my recorded chat with Peter. So get all that stuff out the way. Realise that you're not going to get mauled, every second of the day. Put your mind at ease, but there's still a lot of prep you have to do. So when I got out there, Peter took me through using the bear spray, using different firearms and all that cool stuff. So we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so this is me and Owen, my good friend. This is us just about to head out into the wilderness. We're going to do an all-day hike up Mount Haldane, which is just outside of Mayo, which is pretty much in the centre of the Yukon. Not much there at all. Very, very small village, and everything around it's wilderness. So we were heading out there. We didn't have a firearm with us, but we did have bear spray. And as you can see, the 2 red arrows, they're pointing to where we've got it. So I've got mine on my chest. Owen's got his on his holster, and it's ready to deploy. And Peter was adamant that we were really slick at using this bear spray because you just haven't got much time. We'll see that in the video in a minute. But there is a safety catch on there. But that's where we had them. Believe it or not, some people think that if you spray yourself in the actual spray, it'll deter the bears. That's not what you do at all. I thought it was quite funny, but quite dangerous if you do that. You do not spray the spray in yourself. It's there to spray the bears. Also have the spray handy, not in your rucksack. Have it where you can deploy it quickly. So that's your first thing you want to be doing with a spray. So here's the cans. This is typically what they look like. They're just a little spray can. Make sure it's in date. Make sure it's not 100 years old. Make sure you can use it. It's deployable. And it'll have a little safety catch there, a little plastic catch at the top there that you flick off. And then it's ready to spray. It's a little bit of a guard on there. And then, simple as that really. Spray it in the right direction. Make sure there's nothing in front of you. Try and spray it downwind if you can. But, it's fine me saying that now, but when you haven't got long, there you go, there's Owen spraying it there. And notice there, he's just took one knee, making himself a bit smaller, and he's spraying it in a kind of figure of 8 motion, making a good cloud. That's, enough of it's going to get onto that bear, hopefully. Okay, so this was like 20 minutes into our hike, we saw this bear scat. There's the first sign that bear are in the area. It was, full of berries, as you can see, and that's, a good indicator that they're about. And then it wasn't long before we kind of crested the hill, and then we caught eye on something just down below us. It was only about 200 meters below, and it was a massive black bear and a cub.
Shoot the mum, you have to shoot the kids.
So they were just below us on the track, and I'm sure she knew we were there, but they were just foraging away in their own world. The cub was following, but as we all know, it's not a good combination to get in front of as mum and cub. But yeah, she was just foraging away. Really, really interesting and quite alarming how fast she could move. You know, the distance she could cover just at walking pace. So before I went out by myself on my river trip, I wanted to take a firearm with me, just for peace of mind, personal preference. Some people don't like to take them, and I get that. But I was just happier, and my wife was happier that I had a firearm with me. So we've done some training. I have used these before, but yeah, it was good to sort of have a bit of a shakeout and get used to the ammunition and what to carry, and also staggering the ammunition as well. So you could put some shot in there with some slugs as well, sort of stagger that shot, because shot alone, buckshot, is not going to stop a bear. It's the slug that will stop the bear, and you've got to be able to be accurate with that as well. So it takes a bit of practice. So we've done some ranges. And my weapon of choice was the Winchester pump action shotgun, which was probably the best thing to take. Simple to use. Yeah, and it's definitely got the stopping power to stop a bear. I know some people take pistols and things, but I think if you're going to do the job, do it right and take the right tools with you. So I went for as I say, the pump action in the end.
It's going to be loud.
Do it again, faster.
So that's Peter there, working me hard, taskmaster, brilliant. He wanted to get me really quick at the drills, being able to use that pump action, fire the shots off, and then fire them again. So we had a good bit of time there, just getting things slick and getting used to the weapon system. So it's all right having a gun, but can you use it properly and effectively? And this was interesting. This was a big gun, a shotgun, and then you can see the shot little pellets sort of around, and some of the shot pellets actually didn't penetrate that tin sheet there, but you see the big slug marks above, the big holes. They're the ones that count, and you've still got to hit this bear if it's running at you, with that one bullet. And if you only get a few chances, and again, just like the bear spray, if you don't do it properly, they're going to be on you in seconds. So it all needs to be practiced. So here we are, day 2 by myself. Came around the corner, and this is what I was confronted with. These two grizzly bears up on the high ground, about 150 meters away. And luckily I had that distance. Peter talks about having that distance. It's your best form of defense, is having distance between you and the bears. Here they are, just checking me out. Two kind of cinnamon coloured bears. My heart rate's going, but it's okay because we've got plenty of distance. We got firearms if we need, and that's the main thing. Look at those. Here there's that mum and cub, 2 cubs. So obviously you want to avoid firing off firearms and things like that. Go on. You can shout like I just did there, or you can bang, make noise, bang your paddle off the water, bang rocks together, do all those things, make noise, and then most of the time apparently that gets them away. But in this instance it didn't, and then they started to sort of come towards me. So I fired off a round in the air, fired off a shell, and that done the trick. That loud noise just was enough to scare them away. So, a good ending. Could have been a very different ending though, had I not had the shotgun. So, you know, I'm really pleased that I decided to bring one with me. So this is me. Other things you can do to keep the bears away is obviously get rid of all your food when you're finished with it. So there's the barrel. Take it a good, you know, a couple of 100 meters away from your tent. Wash everything, you know, sanitize yourself the best you can. Do not leave one scrap of food in or around your tent. They will smell it from miles away. You know, there was no trees to string my barrel up on, but this worked a treat. Just walked, you know, a good, as I say, right out of sight and put the barrel out the way, and then it was never any problem. If you can do, obviously have a fire nearby. That can really deter animals, having that fire smoke near your tent. I was told, you know, that was good, and do you know what, every single night after that, day 2 was absolutely fine, and I relaxed into the trip. Now, having said that, you say relaxed, you do have a heightened sense, you know, when you go into the wilderness, your mind does change and you are on high alert, whether you like it or not. It's just a natural thing which is built into you, and you do kind of sleep with your ears and your eyes sort of open as such. But there was one night, I think it was night 7 or 8, I woke up instantly to the sound of an animal sniffing, a really loud sort of sniffing right next to the tent. So I jumped up, screamed, shouted loud, and the thing scurried away. Anyway, here's what happened. What the thing was a huge bull moose, and it was just basically being curious, sniffing around my tent. Yeah, thankfully that's what it was, and not a massive grizzly bear. Bull moose can be dangerous though. I've heard they can stomp on you if you know they're feeling territorial, so you still got to be on your guard for those guys.
So there wasn't actually a third sighting of a bear while I was on the Hess. I caught it out of the corner of my eye, just running along the riverbank up high, and it seemed to be a kind of juvenile black bear, and that was just running along over and jumping over a log, but again miles away from me. So you know, you can pass hundreds and hundreds of miles of wilderness and hardly see a bear, sometimes even never seen a bear. So there's this sort of bit of a misconception of, you know, they're everywhere. Yes, they are everywhere, but not always in plain sight, and they are shy animals. So I don't know, I'm no bear expert, guys. Look, I'm some guy from the UK. I've been very, very privileged to be in that landscape, to be near them, and to have an encounter, and it all went well. So but it went well because I'd done a lot of prep and I'd done a lot of research, and I was calm. I had that distance. There's a bit of luck involved as well, but I had the firearm and I had the bear spray. Everything was ready to hand, and had I not, you know, got that advice from Peter, it may have been different. Who knows? So I guess the purpose of this video is a bit of interest for you guys, and the question still comes out that, you know, should you go into bear country by yourself? Well, I've proven that it can be done, but just with a lot of preparation, and make sure that you're confident. You know, make sure that you're doing all your drills right. You're with your food at night time in your tent. You know, you're much more vulnerable when you're by yourself and not with a group. So just think about that. You know, then do you want to do it? You know, are you confident in doing that? And there's no reason why you don't. There's hundreds and thousands of people doing solo trips in bear country all over the world, all of the time. Just be sensible and do your research. That's all I'll say, folks. So I hope you enjoy this little video. Any comments? I'd love to hear about your experiences in the Yukon or in the wilderness. If you've ever had any bear encounters or sightings, please drop some comments down in the box. I'd love to hear about them. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Stay tuned for another video coming up soon. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and all that good stuff. I'll see you soon, and remember, keep adventuring.